day where the future is decided, or rather, not so much decided as the wheels of progress are put into place, or the wheels of regress. It depends on what you're voting for. And although it's not actually technically the voting day, they have lots of advanced voting here in New Zealand, and so we have something called an easy vote card. And it just seems like a useless piece of paper. But somehow you take that down to a person and they turn that into a voting form. And you go along, you fill out things using a pen, and you place it in a cardboard box. Then you wait for when they announce it on television rather late at night, and only then the process begins. If there's too many parties having too many votes, then you end up having to wait for this whole coalition stuff. And last time that took a while. So anyway, I'll start my bit, do the bit which well, I only get one vote. Technically, if you count the party vote and the electorate vote, but yeah, that's about it. That's all I can do.
Plus you're voting on a referendum.
Oh, the referendums! There's two referendums. The end of life choice bill and the green stuff one.
The pot one. The marijuana.
It just feels wrong saying that word. I am going this way. See, I got a bit lost. The sign just over there told me to go that way. So I went down that way, of course. Knowing me, I didn't see the sign right in front of me. This way.
So in I go.
And in I go.
And I go. And we go.
Yes. And that is it. That's my contribution to democracy, all done and dusted. For the next while, until either another referendum or the local body elections. Until then, that is my vote done and dusted, cast and casted, and until next time.
And then maybe there might be some vegan friendly parties, and there is none.
There's none in New Zealand to vote for. I mean, all the ones remotely based on environmental issues still support a stance of animal exploitation, and they don't at all have any vegan friendly or vegan based policies.
And all of them tend to be, except for the for a couple of parties, which, what is it, the Outdoors Party and the Attica Party, are all pro 1080, which is the most horrific way for animals to die. I think New Zealand and Australia are the only countries that use this horrible, nasty poison that is poisoning our waterways, our forests, and of course our animals.
Yep.
And ourselves, really.
Yeah, it gets in the food supply, water, everything. I mean, 1080, the compound, so sodium fluoromonoacetate or something like that, whatever it is. I could be wrong on what actually exact chemical composition, otherwise I can always edit it in the video if need be. But anyway, some can occur in some species of plant growing in Australian, arable land and so forth.
But not in the quantities.
Not in the quantities, and when it does happen, the farmers will generally strip all the topsoil out and replace it with fresh topsoil because it renders the topsoil toxic. So yet they do that, but they will happily put it into baits and poisons and spread it all over the land, and somehow that's okay to deliberately spread it, but yet when a plant naturally produces it in the soil and it renders a crop toxic, then they go and do it. It's a bit of an interesting concept, might I say.
Yes. And of course New Zealand does not follow do not pick up the dead animals, so of course there's secondary poisoning, and of course it decimates our native species, which it's trying to protect.
So it's a bit of a why does everyone still want to keep doing it when it costs our conservation department heaps of money,
Millions and millions a year,
and yet they complain about not having a conservation budget, and they keep saying, oh, it's the cheapest option available, and yet
it's killing our wildlife.
It's literally the opposite of conservation.
Yes. And our Green Party, which we would never ever ever vote for, completely supports 1080.
Totally, because the thing is, 1080, it comes in a green bait, so Green Party really just stands for Green 1080 bait, and their goal is to spread it all over the countryside to protect our native species.
Doesn't make sense, does it?
Very intelligent.
And then of course Australia is using it in they're putting 1080 in sausages to kill off their dingoes and wild feral cat populations. But dingoes, they were there before the Australian people were.
Yeah. Well, except Aborigines were there first.
Yes.
But obviously the colonisers.
Yes.
Definitely. But dingoes were there well.
But remember, Australian people, the original, were not called Australian people.
No, they weren't.
So yay, Australia and New Zealand.
Real intelligent.
And so bad with animal welfare.
Oh, definitely. Because we're leading the world in that aspect.
So, until next time,
please remember to like, subscribe, and continue watching these videos. And I believe that is us for today. So thank you for watching, and until next time, goodbye.
and remember, do not support parties who support 1080.